Hello, uh, hello, and welcome to uh, me completing a Sid'Oku on medium difficulty. I'll just hold that up to the camera there. There you go. Uh, and I'll attempt to I'll make you understand just what it is you see there. I've got in black and orange, which is my preferred combination. Uh, I'm just going to shut my door actually. There we go. That's better. I shall now proceed to press new game. There we go. And your save progress of yes, I will continue. And a new game. Oh no, there's an advert. I'll mute that for you. There we go. Don't worry, I'll edit that out in post, so you won't see that. Now in the top left-hand box, I should mention that the game I'm playing here is Sid'O'ku. I believe it's foreign, possibly Jamaican or Swedish. Um, uh, the top left hand here already has some of the numbers filled in. It has firstly a 4. I'm doing this left to right because I'm assuming you also read left to right. This is going to be awkward if you read right to left or up to down if you're, say, from Swansea. With that in mind, the first number there is a 4. And then the one to the right of that is blank. And the aim here is that I will fill that in. And then after the blank one is the number 2. And then if we go all the way back over to the left-hand side, but down one, we see that square is blank. And we go right one, that square is also blank. We go right another one, and we see that one is blank. Now, but if we go to the bottom left-hand box of the top left-hand grid, we can see this one is empty. The one next to that on its right is an 8. And then the one next to that on its right is empty. Now the grid section below... No. Yes, the grid section below that starts at... No, hang on. No, we'll go... The grid section in the top middle starts again from the top left with a 6. And then moving right, we've got a blank square, and I'm going to highlight that one. I'll highlight that one for you. You can see that more clearly. We've got another blank one to the right of the first blank one. Of course, the first one on this second grid was a 6. I trust you remember. Now, going on from that last blank one, we're gonna go down here, as you can see, and that's a 4. And what that's helpfully down there is that's highlighted every 4 on the screen. Now that doesn't include all of the 4s we need to put in. You'll see some of them are missing 4s. Not all of them have 4s in, and that will become more evident as we play. So then we go on with the same pattern we've established, going right one, with 3. Now after that, I've never found 3 a particularly interesting number. But we move on from that. Now it makes triangles, and triangles, I think you'll find, are geometrically very strong. And I should go into detail about that someday. I'll unselect the 4, so it's a little less cluttered for you. And next to the 3, we see a blank square. Now don't be alarmed, because we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've already seen 8 of those already. So if you've been alarmed by that, I'm afraid you're watching the wrong Let's Play. and with the same pattern, we go over to the bottom left Oh, sorry there for the interruption. But we'll continue. I'm not sure where we got to actually. Um, it wasn't the 3. Was it the 3? Well, we'll start from the no. We'll start from the 4. Yeah, we'll highlight the 4 there, and then we've got a 3 next to that. I should mention the 4 is in the left-hand column on the second, that is, middle row. So we're going to move over to the right, and we've got a 3 next to that. Let's unselect the 4 now. And next to the 3, we have a blank square. Now, this should not come to as a surprise to the eagle-eyed of you out there. And then moving down 1, and then 2 to the left, as we've established, we've got another blank one. Now, this may become a slight pattern for a while, because we go over to the right, we will also see, and oh no, I've gone too far. There we go. Another blank one. Now, interestingly about this square is another blank one over to the right, and that's the last box in that particular grid. So we're going to go over to the right-handmost, topmost box there. This one is far more interesting, actually. A lot more is going on in this one, so buckle up. Please do wear a seatbelt. Not just a lap one, a full 3-pointer. If you are in a more exciting car, you should use at least a 4-point harness, and if you're on public transportation, too bad. So we've got an 8 at the top left-hand side of the top right-hand grid, and then next to that, going to the right, we have a 3. Now, I believe I've expressed my concerns for a 3 earlier. So now we're going to go over to the 9. Well, what I should say is, after the 3 is a 9. So we've just had 3 boxes in a row all filled in, which will be very useful when we start playing the game. I should mention we're on medium difficulty, and no, you saw that. So, well, I'll edit that out. So, next, after the 9, we have a blank space, and that holds true for the next 2, for the next 3 actually, because the bottom left-hand one of the top right-hand column is also blank, until we move over to the right again, where we get a 4. Now, I'm quite fond of the number 4, because, well, I won't go into that now. I don't really want to bore you. Now we go over one more to the right, and that is a 1. So we want to remember that for when we start. Oh, I've seen where I can put a 1, actually. You see that? That's where we could put a 1, but we're not there yet. So we're going to move all the way over to the left-hand side, and now the second from the top, so the left-hand middle, you'll see there, and the top left-hand one from that, as we've done before. I'm going to keep this pattern consistent, actually, so as not to confuse you. We've got a blank square, and then another blank square, and then another blank square. That was the whole row. Yes, row. That was the whole row without any numbers in there. We hope that will improve, and indeed it does, because we have the number 6, as you can see there, and every 6 lights up. But it's a very handy feature, actually. I remember when I played Sid'O'ku on a piece of paper with a pen, which made it very difficult to use, actually, because the 6s didn't light up being on paper. So whenever I wanted to look at a 6, I had to scan the entire thing for a 6. Of course, that wasn't the same with 3s. When you tapped a 3 on the piece of paper, and all the 3s would come up. But that's another story. And on from the 6, we get a blank square. So not the most amazing grid here we have. But on from the middle one, the very middle one, dead centre, not of the grid, the dead centre of the grid we're on, which I remind you is the fourth grid if you're reading left to right. Of course, this isn't something to be read. This is something to be intuited by discerning eyes. So we've done the blacks. We've done the black. Yes. So now we move on to the 1, and then to the bottom left of the same grid, we've got a blank square, which is not ideal, but we can work with it. Moving on to the next square, which features a 9 prominently there, which I think you'll find is actually a 6 upside down, which is a lovely little sentiment there. I won't explain the sentiment. I feel like it's self-evident. So we're going to move on from the 9. And from the 9 we get nothing. Of course, if we were counting, it would go up to 10. But you see, this doesn't have. None of these grids have 10 spaces. They only have 9 spaces. So we're now into the very middle grid, and we're starting off with a blank square. Now I find it funny actually that we have everything is divided into squares, and yet all the numbers are circled. You see, which may in fact be a reference to circling the square. A band from the late 30s, known for touring Ipswich. They were a wonderful time, and they would often regale in between sets their love of the Great British Locomotive. But I'm losing my track here. I'm losing my track. You see, I've always been told I have a one-track mind. But to the game in hand, which is a Sid'O'ku, it may not be Norway. Well, I'll look that up another time as to where it comes from. So we move on from the blank one over to the right, which is a 6, and you see I've highlighted them all, and we've got many 6s on this. We're only missing a 6 from 1, 2, 3. We're only missing a 6 from 3 of the grids here, as you can see, but I'm doing that out of order, so we'll come back to that. Moving on to the number 7. 7, which is in many respects like 3, but better. Moving on, we've got a blank square, filled with a circle there, because I've highlighted it. And then on from that, we've got another blank square, until we come up with a 3. Now, the 3 is kind of like the number 7, but sort of worse. Now, I can see we've got quite a few 3s, actually. We've got quite a few 3s here. And it's only got one. We've got only 3 grids, which don't have 3s in them. So, it's looking good for when we start to actually puzzle this out. Moving on from the 3, we have a blank, and then a blank, and then a blank. I've gone too fast there. So from the 3, we then move on to the bottom left-hand side of the very middle, and we find blank square, and then another blank square, and then a third blank square in a row. I believe in our next grid, I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself, in our next grid we will have more than that in a row, actually. So that's a treat to look forward to. We're now moving on to the right-hand column, the very most right-hand. I suppose case could be made to say that the middle column is right-hand. It is right-hand to the left side. So we're on the right-hand, the furthest most right-hand column, and the second row. So it's like on the extreme right in the middle. As you can, yes, there you go. So starting off strongly with a 4, which I quite like the 4, and I won't go into detail now, but I'm quite fond of the number 4 for obvious reasons. Moving on from the 4, this is where it gets interesting, because we have quite a gap So we'll count this out with so that's